Welcome to the second installment of the Gameplan Breakdown. Today I'm going to talk about the simplest and the absolute best thing I ever did to get user-generated content sent to me automatically and generate millions of views in the process. But before we start, a quick note on what the Gameplan Breakdown is. So these are short solo episodes where I break down a specific topic in sports content based on my own experience working in the industry. No guest, no fluff, just practical insights, real examples, whether you're working with a team, a brand, an athlete, or your own platform. Now, let's get into today's breakdown. In today's sports content scene and content creation overall, user-generated content is a big part of any organization's content curation. In a world full of broadcast fees and perfect camera angles, the authentic, easy content that you get from a mobile phone or from the stands or from other angles that you normally don't see, and even if the quality is low, just to get that authentic feeling is sometimes even better than having the perfect frames and the perfect full HD or 4K videos. And the user-generated content in sports, I feel sometimes haven't really got the same exposure or the same space, but I think it's a very valuable piece of content that you can use either with your teams or with your organizations. And that's what I wanted to do. So when I started working for the Swedish Basketball Federation as their digital content manager, I wanted to create more content. I wanted to push more stuff. I wanted to especially publish more video from the basketball scene in Sweden. Because until that point, only the top level leagues had broadcasted games, but even then, there was not a lot of highlights published online and social media, so I really wanted to make a change in that. And one of the key places for this was the youth levels, because basketball in Sweden is really growing among the youth. Basketball is the second most popular sport amongst the youth in Sweden, and its popularity has been growing very steadily for the past 10 years. So I really wanted to create more followers for Swedish basketball for our channels, but I also wanted to, the people who actually are really interested in basketball, I wanted them to also be able to see themselves on our channels and really create content for them, which I knew would also create higher engagement than previously. So in Sweden, every season we have the Youth National Championships in U15, U16, U17, U18, U20, boys and girls, and played throughout the season. So this is the biggest national competition in Swedish basketball, with hundreds of games every season, but we couldn't get any highlights from it. It was impossible for us to do it ourselves. So how do we get access to the clips? How do we get access to the highlights from these amazing games that it's been played all over Sweden? It's played from the north to the south, and so many exciting games and so many thrilling games that goes missing and doesn't get the attention it deserves also. And for us to actually capitalize on what basketball is. It's exciting, it's fast, and you can get highlights from so many different places. What also encouraged me to try to get more user-generated content is around this time, the Federation had also set up a new website where every team around the country could broadcast their games live through the same channel. So you can watch all the game through a broadcast online, which also means that more people have access to the game video. So there was a lot more basketball shown online. There was a lot more basketball broadcasts online. So there was a lot more game videos and game highlights available. But as I mentioned, I couldn't do it alone. I can't watch through hundreds of games just to find the highlights. So how can I get help from the actual the people who actually watch the games, or the players themselves, or the coaches, or anyone close to the teams. So this is what I did. I created a Google form where I put in some basic info and some basic questions like the player's name, the team of the player, and also the player's handle on Instagram primarily, and the team's handle on Instagram primarily. And then I also added the ability to attach a video clip to the Google form. And then I also added some more just basic instructions, some basic how-tos, and some tips for the video upload to make it more easy for me to use the material sent in. After that, I published it, and we started really pushing it towards our followers. So every week when there was a Youth National Championship group phase, I posted it on our social media feeds. I encouraged everyone to send in their highlights, linking the Google form in our Instagram stories and our posts, and just kept doing it during the weekend also. Just have it top of mind for anyone going into our Instagram and to our stories. You can see that, please send us your highlights. So I kept going through that during the weekend, and then it started gaining traction, and people started to send in their clips, and I could start going through them. In the beginning, the point of these user-generated content was to create a top 10 list of every weekend when there was a group phase played. So that's what I did. I collected the clips every week. After every weekend, I collected the clips and put together a top 10 list of the best plays from the Youth National Championship that weekend. And it got really big. Overall, it's been one of the best things I have ever done on social media, actually. And a lot of people shared it. All the players in the top 10 list, I tagged them. I tagged the players. I tagged the teams, which made them share it. And also, of course, with the top 10 list, it also gives a bit of excitement. Where is your play going to end up? Is it going to end up on the top 10 list, or is it not? So I just started doing that every weekend. So every other week, there was a new top 10 list coming out on our social media. Through this process, it was also becoming one of our most popular and most viral content that we produced on the Swedish basketball channels. Then, as short form content started getting more and more popular, we switched it up, stopped doing the top 10 list, and instead doing these short 5 to 10 second highlights with one play from one player, or one player from one team, which also mean that we produced even more videos, even more content. So instead of doing one video with 10 highlights in it, we could produce 10 reels if we wanted to, or post 5 or 7 videos from that particular weekend, which also meant that each player and each team in this clip could also be tagged as collaborators, which gained even more traction or more impressions and even became more popular. And this was also when our clips now could become even more viral also on Instagram and TikTok especially. So since we started this 5-6 years ago, we have received over 1,250 videos from basketball games all around Sweden. And of course, not every clip is suitable to post. Maybe it was not as good of a clip, or not as good of a highlight, or it was not really suitable for our channels, because we also had to take in consideration that it was youth players. So we didn't want to post too much plays that were putting people in bad light, or could make people make fun of certain players in the videos. So we had to be careful about those things also, and we learned along the way also. Sometimes we posted clips that were not fun for defenders or for certain players in the clip, which means we had to change approach and we had to make it better. So by now we have set ground rules for what clips can we post and what clips can't we post, or don't we want to post? And we have had several clips that have reached over 1 million views. And our most popular one, this video, have gotten over 18 million views in total. We posted it the first time, and then we reposted it 1 year later, and it got even more views. And we've just been one of the most popular and most successful videos we ever posted, and it's been also reposted by big basketball accounts around Europe. So it's been a really successful thing for us. So all these things have come just from me creating a Google form that people can access, and people can just send in their clips, and I can just choose the clips that I feel are going to really, and I can just choose the clips that I think is gonna really work well online and work well in the Swedish basketball scene also. Because for us it was also important to be able to share and showcase basketball from so many different teams. So we can showcase players and highlights from teams up north or down south or in the big cities, or teams from smaller places that maybe doesn't always get the same opportunity to shine or opportunity to be seen on the same platforms. So this has also enabled us to showcase more basketball to more people and showcase more basketball players from Sweden. And we have even been able to monetize this. So the Youth National Championship is the biggest competition, as I mentioned. So through these successful videos that we started posting, we started getting traction. Then we got an official partner for the Youth National Championship, and we were able to put their logo on these highlight clips. Our user-generated content became branded content with this official sponsor of the Youth National Championships. So from just people sending us clip, we were able to create viral videos, we were able to monetize them, and we were able to make it a brand content also. So for me personally, I would say absolutely this is like the best thing, or one of the best things I have ever created, and one of the best things I ever done in my career in sports content and sports social media, to be able to, help Swedish basketball grow and help more Swedish basketball players get exposure and show more of Swedish basketball to more people. So it's been really a rewarding thing, and I'm very happy that it has worked out so good that it have. And overall, I think user-generated content, in these smaller sports or in smaller organizations where you maybe don't have the manpower or the ability to really create all these highlights or all these content by yourself, user-generated content can really be an opportunity for you to create even more content and get access to more content that is in your genre or in your vicinity. Something I would really recommend leagues, organizations, or teams to do, to set up some kind of form where people can actually send you videos or send you pictures of something that you then can create content from. For example, if you're a team and you want to create the feeling of all the fans getting together to watch your games, ask people to send in photos of them in their sofas at home, watching the games on TV, or take pictures of themselves on the stands, or take pictures of themselves in the stands during the games, and then you can make a carousel of all the fans supporting your team and create the community and create the camaraderie around your team through that way. Or more like me, if you want to get the highlights from your game but from a different perspective, from the fans' perspective or from other places on the court, ask people to send in their mobile videos from the game, and then you can use them online and get even more views and impressions and clicks from their perspectives. So please copy me and do exactly what I did. Create a Google form, start receiving the videos, and start posting even more content and start creating even more attraction and impressions to your social media feeds. I hope today's game plan breakdown gave you some new insights and some new information and some new inspiration to start working even more with user-generated content in sports. And if this breakdown helped you, feel free to share it online or share it to a fellow creator. And please DM me with any suggestions or any topics that you would like to hear me talk about here on the Game Plan Breakdowns or with our coming guests. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on the Sports Content Game Plan.